here than one that's just store-bought. And you're going to start with your hand, palm facing up, and long side coming out of your thumb. And you're going to close your hand, not squeezing, just tight enough that there's a little bit of a gap there so that it can spin around. You're going to start with this simple warm-up spin. You can do this standing or sitting in a chair, sitting on the edge of the bed. But you're going to spin this around. You're going to start this cane spinning to get the body warmed up to prepare to stay safe from injury during your training. From here, after you do this for about 30 seconds, you're going to bring the hand over and back. This is almost like a slapping motion coming across and a back fist across the other way. But just making a simple figure eight. And the purpose of all of this spinning is to get your blood moving, get the synovial fluid into the joints, start to prepare to defend yourself with your walking cane for the training. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Hello everybody, it's good to see you. I see students up there. Nice to see you all this morning, or actually this afternoon. It's been a long day already. After you do that for about 30 seconds, you're going to bring it into the other hand. You're going to do the same thing over here. Now, this cane spinning is going to develop callus on your hands. It's going to help to develop your sense of spatial awareness, timing and distance, your proprioception, your ability to feel where your cane is, how it moves. It's also going to get your heart rate up, and you're going to lean out a little bit. And like I said, standing or sitting, it works both ways. When you're using your Cane Master self-defense cane, and you get started with training, 30 seconds on the other side, and then bring it across and back. I wanted to start with these warm-up moves and some strengthening moves. A lot of times when we use a cane for mobility, we can get stronger, faster when we do this training exercise for self-defense. And we add some extra moves that give you a stronger foundation. Now, if you have physical limitations that keep you from doing any move, just skip it or modify it. There's no way to do it wrong as long as you move. And if it's something you simply can't do, don't worry about it. Just let it go. Do what you can do. Now, if you've done that for 30 seconds, you're going to put it on the floor with your feet on either side of it. You're going to push your hips back. I'm going to show you from the side. And it's not a very big move. You're just going down and up, using your hands on the cane to assist you going down and up. So this is just an assisted squat. The purpose of the squat is to build a strong foundation in the legs. Hello, it's good to see you guys. From here, from New Zealand. I like when you guys put in the comment section below too. So not just the chat, but in the comment section. I love to hear where everybody's from, where you're training from. But just going down and up. And again, your goal is to keep your body under tension for an amount of time. We're going to say 30 seconds, time under tension. Just 30 seconds, down and up. And your whole purpose here is to build strength in the legs. All the power when you're standing will come off of the legs. Now, if you need two canes, you might use one cane to strike with and the other cane to keep you from falling on the ground. You use one hand here, leaning into it. You can now use the other cane to strike with, to thrust. You can have it in the other position. You can reach out, you can rake. So you can still defend yourself. If you need two canes, one to walk with, the other one to strike with, then you can do that. After you've done this down and up motion, I want to show you, I brought the band out. I wanted to do this at the beginning of the workout, just so that you can see, you can start to gain strength. This is a simple resistance band. I put a bunch of links below if you want to see what the dimensions of the cane are, what the dimensions of the bands are. You can start with a thinner band, not as wide. That'll be less resistance. The wider the band, the more resistance. You put it on the crook side. This is in front of your body. You let it turn a little bit, grab it behind your back, and then you're gonna bring the other side here. I like to do it with my hands on the outside, but you can also do it with your hands on the inside of the band. I like to do it both ways, but you're just gonna do what I call a standing push-up. So that's just anchored back there behind your back. And what you're doing here is starting to get more strength, more mobility, more flexibility, more power in all of your strikes as you're improving your grip strength, your forearm, your chest, your shoulders. and you get that resistance in there, your body's gonna become more efficient at burning fat. You're gonna become a fat burning machine. So you're gonna lean out. Anytime you lean out, and I learned this recently because I've had a lot of trouble with my hips for the last 2 years. I've seen an orthopedist, he's given me some advice I don't like. So I've been working with physical therapists, I've been learning new stretches, new ways to alleviate stress and pain in the joint and to get healthy. But my wife told me from her research, if you, Peter, I'm gonna answer your question in just a second because I've been thinking about your question. Oh, Hayes Griffith, thank you for that super chat, that super sticker, that donation. But every 6 pounds of body weight, or every 1 pound of body weight adds 6 pounds of pressure onto your joints, especially your hip joints. So if you can lean out, if you lose fat, burn fat, become lighter, you're gonna have better mobility and less pain. So that's been my goal. I've been trying to lean out. And it was really, in my opinion, only 2 ways to do it. One way is to build stronger muscle and to get your heart rate up and sweat. The other way is to eat right. Eating right is probably the best way. Andy Thousand, good to see you. So that's just a good way to get the body warmed up using bands, using your cane for self-defense cane. This is the Cane Masters cane. These are made out of hickory. Now, the question earlier was, and the question I've seen a lot lately is, oh yeah, Jared Beck, thank you. I've been using red light therapy. Jim Beck was giving us some ideas about how to get better therapy for your joints, but the red light's been really, really helpful too. The sound wave therapy, all those things really work. This is a great way to work the upper arm, the triceps. And the triceps do a lot of the extension of the arm, a lot of the strikes that you're gonna do. So I put it up here and I just push this way. Andy says, what do you think of the CRKT self-defense key? I think all those things are really cool. That's just one more awesome option that you can carry with you. But just pushing here, that's for the back of the upper arm. Throw that band under your glutes, your bum, and sit back a little bit, and then curl, and you're gonna start to work those biceps. Now, we're not going for looking muscles, we're not going for beach muscles, we're going for effective, useful self-defense muscle. So I went strong back so that when I pull my strikes through, if I have to reach out and snatch somebody with the crook of the cane, I'm more effective that way. So on a strong back, strong chest, and you can get all that with a simple resistance band. And this costs literally a fraction of a gym membership, right? This, and all you need is one of these. You can work every part of your body. I do it every single day and I train people with these. I don't think you can get much better than one band and one cane. All right, so those are just some ways you can warm up. Going back to the basic spin, one word I'll say about that before I talk about the new project I'm working on, which was your suggestion. You'll see a lot of people talk about using this spin, and there are ways to spin and strike coming down. So work with that, right? I'm not ever gonna say that you can't do something for self-defense, because self-defense techniques are never as important as the principles. The principle is always gonna be situational awareness, pay attention to what's happening right now. Number 2, get in a better position, put the cane between you and the threat, and if that happens to be spinning, if you're doing this, that follows that rule, get it between me and the threat. And number 3, what can you remove or destroy? And maybe coming down over the top of his head with that fast spin, and you can hear this hard piece of oak, or you can get this in hickory, you're gonna crack someone's head, you might knock him out, which is what we want for self-defense. Turn off his operating system. You don't have to worry about if he's carrying a knife, is there multiple people, is he gonna get up and try to take the cane away and hurt you with it? But if you practice these spins every single day, you're gonna find very quickly, you are gonna lean out, you are gonna get powerful grip, you are gonna be able to move this cane wherever you want it, because you're getting that callus on the hand and you're getting a feel. The cane will literally become a part of your body. It'll become an extension all from that spinning. So take that spinning seriously, whether you use the spin itself for a self-defense move, or you just use it in the training like I do. There are a lot of different ways to spin. and you can explore all of that, and, you know, up over the back. And I don't want to go chasing my cane across the room. Good afternoon, Alita. It's good to see you again, too. I'm going to lower the camera a little bit. Close your eyes if you get nauseous. But I want you to see a little bit lower so you can see some of the footwork. And by footwork, I mean get the feet under your body. And again, all these moves can be done sitting in a chair, sitting waiting for the bus, sitting on the bus, sitting waiting for the train. I had my experience with the train this week. All right, and I wish I had my cane with me. So my mistake not to bring it. So now that we've done the basic warm-ups, I want to talk real quick about some simple moves. I'll show you this cane while we're getting that set up. This is the Cane Masters self-defense cane. This is the Traveler. And the features of this are unique and different than this. And the reason for it is this is a dojo training cane. This is a simple cane. You can carry it with you every day. It does look super old-fashioned, which is what someone mentioned to me recently. This one is a little bit more stylish. It also has these super slick features like this blade. It's actually a teardrop shape. There's the teardrop. I think of it as a heart. It kind of looks like a heart to me. But what that does is that cuts some of the material off the side so that it goes through the air faster. It's going to hit harder. And when this makes contact with his upper arm, shoulder, neck, jawline, temple, it's going to compress the flesh and it's going to shatter the bone. That's what that's for. That's what that dull blade is for, that teardrop shape. So that's a very effective feature of this self-defense cane, the Traveler. And all of these, the links below, if you want to look at go to the Cane Masters link. These are Cane Master self-defense canes. This just keeps it in your hand in case you get super sweaty or there's some other bodily fluids there from defending yourself. And this big nasty tooth will remove flesh, take the eye off, the nose off, the teeth out of the mouth for self-defense. This will reach in. You can reach in and dig into the nerves and the muscle. You can do a lot of, especially here, think about in the ribs. Maybe you're sitting, maybe you're in a chair. You got to reach up and rake. And then this is like a big hammer on the end. It's like a big fist smashing through the nose or chopping down or chopping with that backside. One of my favorite moves from here is you slide it up into this position. You're getting too close. Your hands are up. Everybody's watching. All the cameras are out now. Been seeing, you know, we all see these videos these days where people have to defend themselves or they didn't defend themselves. You can strike here. You can block here. Now you've got this over your arm. You're able to do a lot of things. Yeah, Andy says you hate to get hit with this nasty looking hook. And it is. This is oak, so that's not going anywhere. Oak against flesh, oak's gonna win. And if you get this made out of hickory, that's even stronger. Hickory against flesh, the flesh will not win. Or hickory against bone. You're gonna shatter that bone for self-defense. So they're very effective. But the question that you keep asking me is, you said, I have to carry, I don't want to carry this. You don't want to carry this old-fashioned looking cane and wood. You need to, because you're a young professional, carry one of those expandable, adjustable, I think is the word, not expandable. Adjustable, sometimes they're expandable. Hey, Sensei, it's good to see you. Aluminum cane, the inexpensive canes. We were at Publix yesterday at the pharmacy, and right next to the checkout of the pharmacy, and I'm sure you've seen them many places, are all those inexpensive $19, $20 canes, and they're made out of aluminum. So while I was waiting, I had my daughter bring one over as I was talking to the pharmacist, and I just got a good sense of it. So I've ordered one because I want to find, I was looking for one that I liked. I didn't like any of those. So I ordered one, it'll be here. That's gonna be one of the videos we make next week, is how to defend yourself if the cane that you're carrying is not a Cane Master self-defense cane, which is purpose-built. But yeah, and like Andy said, walking stick looks more modern, and we can do we can all the same self-defense moves. And the only thing with those inexpensive aluminum canes is that obviously with enough pressure, if they've got a baseball bat or even if they're coming down with their arm and they're really strong, they're going to bend and you're going to compromise your cane. However, just a quick preview, what I did discover, which is what I discovered using umbrellas, because I've done this a lot with umbrellas, is that, you know, an umbrella won't take a full strike from a bat unless it's one of those self-defense. Oh, hello, Aveen. It's nice to see you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching from Ireland. But you're using an umbrella, unless it's a shatterproof umbrella, a self-defense umbrella, those are also going to collapse under the pressure of something like a tire iron or a club or a baseball bat. And so you're not going to be able to do the blocking motions. But if you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I don't like to block. I'm not against blocking. I naturally, I've trained so many blocks with swords and sticks over the years. I have a natural inclination. I know how to block, and I will teach you how to block. But if you have a choice, he's coming down like this, and you can get under, and you can do this motion and drive it up and through his body. I'm gonna have you do that first. I want you to hit him before he hits you, if it's at all possible. And if he's coming down like this, and all of a sudden this is coming through here, his hands are not gonna, they're not coming this way. He's then going to go back, right? And everything else will be exposed, and then you have more strikes that you're gonna throw. But let's talk about self-defense strikes. You're just getting started with your Cane Master self-defense cane training, and you've done your warm-ups, you've done a little bit of body exercise, your body lean and strong so you can defend yourself. The first thing I want you to do is, starting with the crook facing behind you in the traditional way, is to slide your hand down the front and then pick it up into two hands and step and thrust. So from this position, he's coming at you. He's coming really fast. Before he gets in, you're going to lift and thrust. This was my favorite technique, using the pugil sticks as a young Marine in Marine Corps boot camp when we fought with the pugil sticks. Every single time, it's a matter of timing, and the only thing you have to think about, matter of timing, it's not like perfect timing, it's just you move first. Don't hesitate. If you can bend your knees and you lower your body and then you lift and thrust, this is going to go straight through. Yes, Sensei Emmett, your comments, I'm going to come back and read those later. But I've seen that pipe filled with concrete. Not at your friend's house, but I've seen those things, and those are nasty. There's no way, talk about shattering bone. There's nothing that's going to stop that. But just from here, your hand slides down the front, point it at the attacker, bend the knees, and thrust. And practice just extending the arm into the body. Now, if you hit him, even as he's coming forward, even if that person is much bigger, think of what you're hitting. You're using this hard piece of wood going against throat, teeth, or aluminum, chest, into the solar plexus, into the groin, and you're pushing with your legs. You might be sitting at that bus stop, same thing, and just pushing here. Now, you're probably going to come back a little as he makes contact, but you're going to have that between you and him still. From this position, after you're here, I want you to pull your shoulder and push. Pull your shoulder and chop down, right? And your target, what do you remove or destroy? His ability to be awake, or break his jaw, right? His ability to see or breathe temporarily, and that's that basic strike. So from here, thrust, strike, and then you're gonna punch with that back hand. Think about coming right into his face with that crook, that hard tooth. So from here, your hand slides down the front, you're gonna thrust, chop, punch, and then two hands you're gonna push, and this is going to go right in through his teeth or his nose or into his throat or into his body. So simple moves. This is what I want you to do. I want you to always practice the basics first. From here, push, chop, punch, thrust, and then switch hands. Sliding down the front, pointing, push, chop, punch that back hand, and then thrusting here. Now, you can also finish with a chopping motion down over the top, like this, and you can use that crook. That's his groin, by the way, right? Pardon me for anybody watching who might be a little bit younger. I just thought about that. But striking here, and then reaching in and lifting up. Striking down on the top of his head and lift him up off the ground a little bit. Finish him with that move. Basic techniques, using your cane in this position. From this position, I'm going to have you turn it so that the crook is facing out. And the first thing I'm going to have you do is snatch this up between his legs. Now, this comment was made the other day that this motion is not going to be very effective for most people because they're just simply not as strong. And so I pressure tested it. It pressure tested with my older students who are much, much older than most of the people who I think maybe made that comment. And they were able to generate maximum speed and power with this super short, simple move. And I'm going to show you why. Because your wrist here turns, and if you take this here and lift it up, and then your shoulders coming up at the same time, so you have 3 joints that are in motion: the wrist, the elbow, and the shoulder. And that creates, if you think about it, from that tip to this shoulder, that's an extremely long lever. And that lever is going to have a lot of force generated here at the very tip. And then by accelerating at 3 different joints, it, even with a small motion, is going to become a fast motion. Now you might not hit him in the groin, you might hit him under the chin, or maybe he's reaching out and you smash that hand. Now you might not finish the fight with 1 strike. That's okay. It's for self-defense. It's not over till you win. So you're going to hit him here, put in that other hand, and then there's the thrust. So you're going to thrust that same way. And from here, you're going to pull your shoulder again, and you're going to chop. And notice that when you do that, you're using your entire body to move through the strike. So from here, snatch up between the legs, support it and thrust through his body, pull and chop down like that. Put it in the other hand, practice those same 3 moves in combination. 1, 2, 3. Now, will you do those in combination? I don't know, it doesn't matter. But practice in combination so that naturally, and this has always been a rule of self-defense and fighting, if you never throw 1 punch and stop, right? Almost no fights, they do. Fights do end on 1 punch. One well-timed and executed punch with extension of the arm and rotation of the shoulders and hips and stepping into it on the right spot will stop the fight. Either here, sometimes here, sometimes here. That can happen. But we're not going to rely on that. We want to have that as soon as this one's hitting, this one's following through if we were boxing, if we were punching, right? So the same thing's true with the cane. I already hit him here. I'm setting this one up here, and I'm going to follow through with here. If I need to, I can bring this down and smash him over top of the head, and then look where that crook is, that big nasty tooth sitting there, that beveled edge. The purpose of that beveled edge is to add some biting power. That's not what it's for. It's actually there. It's just designed. It makes it easier to carry as a mobility device. As a medical device, it makes it a little bit easier to carry. But we use it just because it makes sense to reach in there and dig around a little bit and make it a little bit more effective. Yeah, Doug says these hard strikes show the value of the cane being made of hard hickory. And that's going to be the truth. When we talk about next week, when I bring in the aluminum cane for you to see, the kind of the inexpensive canes that are a little bit more stylish, you're going to see that there are definite limitations. But that's okay, because there are limitations here in all of us, right? We don't always move the same way as we used to. I don't move the same way that I did 20, 30 years ago. There's no way. And I'm not going back. You know, you're not going back. You can get better, but it's because you learn how to adapt and you learn how to change a little bit. You learn how to move smarter and all that other good stuff. But the point is learning how to use the things that you do have instead of worrying about the things that you don't have. That's always going to be a losing proposition or preposition, whichever one it is. Now, we have the crook facing you, or your crook's facing me, facing the bad guy. The next way that I want you to think about using it is with, again, going back to this idea of using this nice long lever from this shoulder, and it's just from here, turning your shoulders and hips. And it's not swinging the arm. Swinging the arm will create power because, again, of that long lever. I had to look at it so I don't miss it. If you also turn your shoulders and hips, you can hear the difference in the sound of the strike. That's the whole upper body turning. That's just the arm turning. Just a little bit of extra movement on your core, you're going to hit harder. Now, if you take that front foot, and you can see it in the mirror, you take a tiny little step as you move into it, and you move your whole body through the side of his head or his arm, his upper arm, you're going to create a lot more power. So from this position, practice over and over that simple, fast moving to stop him a little bit. Once you get that there, throw it in the other hand. There's that thrust again. There's that chop and that rip. You can chop, get the other hand back on it, and rip. Now from this position, Different way that I want you to practice it is sliding it up. Just practice it up and down, up and down. And again, if you need two canes, you can lean on one and fight with the other one. From this position, and here's another comment that I've had recently, which is a very good point. And I'll say, excellent point. You made an excellent point. The point was, it's going to be hard if you only have one hand to fight with. It's going to be a lot harder to fight with one hand than fight with two hands. And you're less likely to hold on to your stick with one hand than with two hands. They're more likely, they're going to be stronger than you if they've got two arms pulling on your one arm when you're holding your cane. And I'm going to say, absolutely, you're 1,000% right. And if you only have one arm, you only have one arm. So, okay, that's like saying if you lost an eye or you were born with one eye and you can't see as well as somebody who has two eyes. Yes, okay, that's your reality. So now what? What are you going to do now? So that's my answer to that. If fighting with one hand is not going to be as effective as fighting with two hands. I've known two amazing martial artists with one arm. One guy lost it in a car accident. The other was born and had polio as a child and wasn't ever able to use it. They were both amazing fighters, and they were fierce, and they were mean, and they would hit you, and they were fast, and they had learned how to fight with what they had, and nobody ever thought any less of them. Most people didn't want to fight them because they were really amazing fighters. These are competitive fighters back in the day, before there was any kind of Special Olympics or anything else. These guys could fight well with one arm because that's all they had. So that's my point. If you've only got one arm, use it. So from this position, popping it up in this position, and then immediately thrusting it into a nose, the teeth, the throat, and this is mimicking a fast punch to the face. If you've got your hand up and he's getting closer and you say, hey, don't come any closer, I will defend myself, I'm going to defend my family, get away, and then you throw that punch, or you throw a palm strike, or you throw an elbow with one arm, it's the same kind of idea. The only difference is you have this hard piece of hickory or oak that you're going to use to smash through. Yeah, Garen says there's several amazing martial artists in wheelchairs. I've seen them in wheelchairs, and walkers. I've seen them on the floor with no legs. I've seen them on the floor with legs don't carry them around anymore. You fight with what you've got, and don't disqualify yourself because you don't fit somebody else's perspective or somebody else's expectation of what you should look like. Who cares? Stop listening to people. Pop it up, throw that punch, reach in, and rake. So from this position, you go in, see how your hand turns a little bit? It's almost like a boxing punch, right? It turns a little bit so that you have that nice angle, but also so that your wrist is supported when you make that strike. When that hits his face, it's going to be a lot stronger. And then just turn it. Think about sticking it in his ear, right? Get that in his ear and then rip, pull. You're used to pulling yourself up with your one arm anyway. You're going to have a lot of strength there when you strike, turn, and pull. You can also swing. There's that long lever again. Swing this around, coming right into the side of his head, striking here, reach across, and pull it out. You can hold it in this position and swing it kind of the way we did earlier, but using more turning of the wrist to strike with so that you're coming across this way. Yeah, Andy said stick it in his ear and ask him, can you hear me now? I told you, back up. I told you you're getting in my face. I told you don't hurt me. I told you don't touch me. You don't have to like me, but you can't touch me. You can't try to take away my freedom or my liberty, my dignity. Get out of my face. I will defend myself, right? It's a command. It's not a question. It's not a request. I'm not asking you to back off. I'm not asking you to get out of my face. Quit screaming and yelling at my family. Quit threatening and coming in like you're going to hurt us. Quit putting your hand on my wife. Quit getting close to my kids. It's not a request. It's a command. And then you have to defend yourself if you have to, right? Never for a fight, always for self-defense. So striking, ripping, and turning this way, coming through, striking, just really fast. And think about striking the jaw, striking the temple, striking the neck, the upper arm, the shoulder. Joints always break easier than shoulders. Now there's a great book that I want you to buy. If you're just getting started with your Cane Master Self-Defense Cane Training. Also, there's a book called When Violence is the Answer by Tim Larkin, and I put the link below. There are a bunch of great links below. Go and look at all those. And if you read his book, you're going to read the whole idea of principles of self-defense being more important than the techniques. And that is very liberating because we don't know which techniques are going to work. And if we go back to our early argument about one arm, no arm, one eye, whatever, and what you can do and what you can't do anymore, then all that doesn't matter. It starts to fade away when you think, well, I can't throw this anymore, I can't do that anymore, I don't have this kind of strength anymore. Because what Tim Larkin talks about in that book, When Violence is the Answer, that link's below, is that you ask yourself the question, what can you remove or destroy? And then either by answering that question, you figure out what your strikes are. What are you going to hit? How are you going to hit them? And it's immediately obvious when you ask yourself that question, because every situation is going to be different. Maybe multiple attackers, maybe a bigger opponent, maybe somebody who's got a weapon, maybe someone you think might have a weapon, maybe somebody who has already hit you first and you're struggling to get up, and you still ask that question, where am I going to hit this? And then you lift him off the ground a little bit, bring that up between his legs. So basic techniques, tactics and techniques, Andy says. Sliding this hand down the front, I want to show you one more way that I want you to use it. Stepping back, get behind it, and practice from your shoulder, strike through, from the other shoulder, strike down, turn the hand up, bring it up this way, bring it up this way, across, back, down on top, put it in the other hand. So the cane's between you and the threat. The first motion is striking from the shoulder. Strike from the shoulder, turn your palm up, bring it across, think about hitting the ribs or the leg, bring it across, turn it through, palm up, bring it to the other side with this horizontal strike, think of the jaw, the temple, his arm, his leg, turn it over, bring it back, bring it down, straight on top, switch hands. Practice over and over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, switch, starting from the shoulder, starting from the hip, coming across and back, down on top, switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The more you do this, the easier it's going to be. You know what? It doesn't get easier, you just get better. It's like push-ups. They don't get easier, you get stronger. Just start with 1, and then it's 2, and then 3. Just over and over, practicing. You're going to get 2 things out of it. You're going to get timing and distance, and you're going to get better strength. You're going to get a lot more than 2 things out of it. But those are the first 2 things that when you get started with Cane Master Self-Defense Cane Training, practicing these basic strikes over and over, you're going to get a sense of knowledge, like you know what to do. You're going to have an idea of how to use your Cane Master Self-Defense Cane. Check out the links below, and please subscribe so that, and hit the notification bell, because a lot of times you're telling me that you've been missing my live streams and you don't know why, and it's usually because the subscribe hasn't been pushed. If you do that, then you will get the notifications when they go live. Alita, thank you for being here. Thanks for everybody for being here. Cane Masters is the best product that I've seen. I've seen other cane self-defense canes now. I've seen much heavier canes. I like these because they're just so perfectly balanced. They're made here in the United States. That it makes lots of jobs for local people, which I always love stuff like that. And next week we're going to do the disposable canes, or the inexpensive expandable canes. I've ordered 2. I've ordered one that's just you can change the height, and then I've ordered the other one that pops out. Thank you, Nick. It's good to see you, and thanks again for that. You guys give me these super chats and the stickers. I really appreciate you giving me the super thanks afterwards. I really appreciate those so much. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll be